Hi friends, welcome to Storytime with Tristan. What would you do if you found an elephant in your yard? That's exactly what happens to Nilly in our story today. Let's read together and find out what happens. Before we begin our story, I want to remind you that readers can use the strategy of making predictions to help them as they read. A prediction is a good guess you make using text or picture clues and your own knowledge. We can make predictions before we read by looking at the title and cover and illustrations, and we can make predictions while we read by thinking about the characters, setting, and what has already happened. Sometimes the predictions we make are right, and sometimes they're not. Getting predictions correct every time is not the point in making predictions. Predictions help us to actively think ahead, ask questions, and understand the story better. Let's practice making predictions together. When Nilly Met Nelly, the Hungry Elle by Giavanna Grein and illustrated by Amelia Gossman. By looking at the cover and the title, what do you think might happen in this story? I think that this is Nilly and that the elephant's name might be Nelly, since it says when Nilly met Nelly, the Hungry Elle. And I'm also wondering about the setting of this story. I know that elephants live in places like Africa or in areas like Asia, like maybe India. And I also know that bananas grow in tropical places, so places like Central America, South America, and India. So I'm wondering if maybe the setting of the story is going to be in one of those places. Let's find out. On a tiny farm in India lived a little girl named Nilly, who tended to banana plants in fields just slightly hilly. So we were right, the setting is in India. Full of pride for her family farm, Nilly guarded every tree, helping plant and grow and care for every little seed. While walking through the fields one day, acting like a forest ranger, Nilly watched and then she dropped at the sight of potential danger. A young fuzzy elephant with peels all around her feet was feasting on bananas, using her trunk to help her eat. I wonder why this might be a problem for Nilly. Why do you think this might be a problem that the elephant is eating the bananas? Nilly heard tales of elephants that roamed across fields and forests and sometimes near homes. But she had never seen one near her family farm and feared that this visitor might cause them harm. So she took a deep breath and stood as tall as she could. With her hands on her hips, she hoped that she would look scary enough to chase her away. But much to her surprise, the L wanted to play. So I don't think this elephant's very scary at all. Look, it's laying down wanting to play with Nilly. The elephant stomped and she romped and she rolled and seemed so much kinder than the stories people told. Hello, little L, what is your name? Are my family's bananas the reason you came? With a swing of her trunk, she said, my name is Nelly, and yes, your bananas taste best in my belly. My family is limited in the food we can find. You have so many here, I didn't think you would mind. Well, said Nilly, I suppose just a few. You're a tiny little L. How much can you chew? I'm wondering why Nelly's family doesn't have a lot of food that they can find. Do you think that Nelly will eat a lot of bananas since she's so small? Let's find out. The next morning, Nilly froze when she made it to the trees, because where once stood one L, now there were three. One of them was giant, at least 8 feet tall. She suddenly felt frightened and very, very small. "Meet my sister and Mom," Nelly said while she chewed. "I told them about your farm and great food. The bananas are so tasty. I knew they'd want some too. I thought it'd be okay with a few plus 2. "A few was okay though, I'm sorry to say. Your family might eat more than we can give away. My family sells bananas, and that's how we eat. So you see, I must save the bananas on that tree." Oh, so Nilly's family needs the bananas just as much as Nelly's family needs the bananas. I wonder what she'll do. "Just a couple more then. We'll be on our way. We'll go find new fields. What do you say?" Nilly sighed and said, "Well, all right then, as long as you promise not to come back again." I'm making a prediction here that Nelly and her family are going to come back because we learned that they can't find food in other places. And I also know that elephants usually travel in a herd or in a group together. So I think that there might be some more of Nelly's family that needs some food. So I don't think that she's going to go very far. But when Nilly returned to the field the next morning, she realized she hadn't been firm with her warning. For standing next to Nelly this time were not 2, but 5 more elves who had joined their meal group. Nelly shrugged and said, "I'm sorry, but it's true. We have no other place to go find food. There are people farms everywhere and not many trees where we're allowed to gather crops for our family to eat." Nilly felt sad that this story was true, though if they ate all her bananas, she'd be hungry too. So she marched to the village and asked all around how to keep out the elves, and these answers she found. An electric fence, chili, and honeybees too. They don't like the noise when the bees buzz on through. "Try a trench," said one lady. "They can't get across. Just dig a big hole too big for them to cross." So what do you think Nilly is going to do? Do you think she's going to try all of these ways to keep out the elephants? Let's see. So Nilly built a big fence around all the trees, then set up some posts for the family of bees. She sprinkled some chili all over the grass and dug a big hole so the elves couldn't pass. So she set up all of these things to keep out the elephants. Do you think it's going to work? I'm predicting that the elephants are still going to get through because they really need this food. So I think that they're still going to try to get through. The L group had now grown to a total of 10. They stopped for a moment looking puzzled, but then, one by one, each L trunk tied on tight to the tail of the rump of the L in front, and they formed a great line. Their chain made of L's crossed in no time. So we were right, they're still getting through. After pushing and pulling across the big trench, the biggest of them all stomped the wire fence. The L's kept running, and the bees buzzed away. The chili was the last challenge standing in their way. They scrunched up their trunks and took a deep breath in, then sprinted for the bananas. Hooray, a win! Nilly was shocked by the strength of the herd that foiled her plan as if they'd heard every word. She had one last option hiding up her sleeve, one last attempt to make those L's leave. Look at Nilly, she looks really sad. What do you think she's going to do to make the elephants leave her family farm? Let's find out. She needed to find new food for them all, though she knew that one field would be much too small. Elephants are big, and they really like to roam, so she found several fields for them to call home. With the help of the villagers, she planted new seeds, 4 bamboo shoots, and tasty fruits to serve as elephant feed. They made a special trail to help the elves find their way, just far enough from the banana fields, but close enough to play. Now Nilly and Nelly are the best of friends and don't need to argue over bananas again. Everyone in the village has food in their bellies, thanks to the humans and their trail for the elves. The end. Wow, I love that Nilly was able to find a solution that helped her family and the elephants too. This is a really important story that helps us to learn more about a real problem elephants are having. The author included more information in the back of this book to help us learn more about human-wildlife conflict. Elephants are actually an endangered species. Endangered means there are fewer left alive on the planet and that the entire species is in danger of vanishing forever. This would not be a good thing. It's important that we learn to live with wildlife because this is their world too. Elephants like Nelly are very important to the environment. That is why there are conservationists working right now to help protect elephant habitats. You can find out more about how conservationists are helping by going to organizations like worldwildlife.org and see what you can do to help. If you liked this book, make sure to check out Giavanna Grein's other book called Make Her Story. Special thanks to Giavanna Grein for granting permission to read aloud When Nilly Met Nelly, the Hungry Hungry Elf. Thanks for joining me on Storytime with Tristan. To purchase today's book, find out how you can take an online reading class with me, or learn how you can purchase shirts like mine to help support fostering, adoption, education, and dog rescue, click the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest videos. I'll see you next time for another reading adventure.